raising an autistic child, helping to keep our perspective on what is most important. I don't know why I did not think of this before. Clothing can be quite the daily battle. My secret weapon in the winter when I have little ones who are just bored and need something to do, sharing the gospel with our child, sharing scripture. I'm just gonna warn you now, it's a silly one. I hope it doesn't offend anybody. Well, hello. It's been a while. If you are someone who just stops by my channel for autism videos, I had a goal of doing these every quarter and then took a little bit of a break and hiatus from YouTube, but I am excited to be back. And today I'm going to talk all about my favorite autism products that we have been using this winter, specifically for when you are stuck indoors. Now, in case you're new around here, hi, my name is Sarah. I am a homeschool mama to 5 kiddos. They range in age from preschool all the way up to high school. My husband Justin and I have been married for almost 20 years this year. Oh my goodness. Today I'm focused on talking all about our 6-year-old son Ezra, who is autistic, and some of the things that we have been utilizing with him for the last few months while it's been cold here in Ohio. Now, needless to say, I am not a doctor. I am not an expert. I'm just a special needs parent. I have an autistic child, and I'm going to share here what has been helpful for us, what has been helpful for Ezra, what has been a blessing in our household the last few months. Hey, see, there you go. There's a blessing right there. If you can hear that ding dong in the background, I talked about that in one of my other videos, a door alarm for Ezra's room. That tells me he is leaving his room right now. It's been wonderful for the middle of the night. I'll be sure to link it down below. But a door alarm for your autistic child's door for the middle of the night, or even during the day when you're not eyeballing them, has been wonderful. Anyways, I'm not an expert. I'm just an expert in Ezra, and I have a heart to share things that have been helpful for us that will maybe be a blessing to you and your family. All right, so let's just start out with gross motor play, like big play around the house, which doesn't sound like it goes with winter, but it does. I really think it is worth the time and investment to get some indoor play equipment for your kids if you live in a winter area where it is difficult, if not impossible, for them to play outside every day. And so little by little, Justin and I have been collecting some items for the kids for down in the basement where they can play and jump and be silly and get all their wiggles out. And I have found that this is very, very important for Ezra especially. So a few of the items that have been worth the investment and have lasted the test of time, gone through several very rough and tough kiddos. First of all, this fabric tunnel. Kids love to crawl through them. They like to stand up in them and play peekaboo. Sometimes Ezra will even use it as like an obstacle to come off the couch and crawl through it. All kinds of things that they are very creative with this little collapsible tunnel. I love that it doesn't take up a lot of space. I can just collapse it, Velcro it, stick it underneath the couch or in a closet, and it's out of the way. Now, last year for Ezra's birthday, we made the plunge and we graduated from the Little Tykes plastic toddler slide that we had in the basement for years and years that he had outgrown. And we bought him for his birthday one of these A-frame ladders with the attached wooden slide. There's a lot of other different pieces and parts that you can add on to this system. They are a little bit pricey, and I just wanted to test out the ladder and the slide and see how that held up. And here we are almost a year later, and they still look brand new, and they have used them all the time. They use it to slide, but then they also use it as a tent. He'll throw blankets over top of it and crawl underneath it and play inside of it. It's been really, really fun. I will put a link to the specific one that we purchased. I did a lot of research to find this specific one because I wanted one that would grow with Ezra and that could handle a lot of weight so that, Lord willing, he can use this until he is 9 or 10 years old. We also have one of these gymnast mats that it's just from IKEA that I bought several years ago, and it's so fun. Ezra loves to just tumble, do somersaults, try to stand on his head on this mat. This mat has been multi-purpose. They will use it as a gymnast mat, but also they will use it to create forts. One day I went downstairs and they had it vertical and they were hiding behind behind it and using it as a Nerf gun target and place to hide behind. So that was super fun. Now, also, Ezra's birthday is coming up here at the end of the winter, and so on his wish list and my wish list is an indoor trampoline. This is something that he uses at occupational therapy almost every week in their little gym, is just a little mini indoor trampoline, and it's so fun. He'll get on there, and he loves to count, and so sometimes I'll say, you know, count to 200, and he'll jump for his therapist and jump until 200, or sometimes we'll use a visual timer and let him jump for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever it is. We have a large trampoline outside, which again, one of the best things we have ever purchased for our kids. We bought back in 2020 when everyone was buying trampolines, but in the winter, it would be lovely to have a mini one down in the basement. Now, all of this is indoor play equipment. I will say that I just don't believe that there is any replacement for getting your kids outside every single day if it's not too cold, if the weather is an option for them to go outside. And I will say, even though we live in Ohio, most winter days, if you have the right gear for your kids, you can send them out for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I have found that this is especially even important for me to get outside every single day and to get a little bit of sunlight on my face when the sun peeks through, and just to get some fresh air. Now, one of the things I'm just going to mention on here is that a lot of times autistic kids with sensory issues can sometimes not realize when they are cold or hot, right? Like they just don't have that sense about them. Ezra will oftentimes get very, very cold and not realize it. And so be sure to have good outdoor gear that you are asking them to wear. I know sometimes I really have to force Ezra to wear his mittens. This is a lifesaver, because if I had to spend every day trying to put gloves in between Ezra's fingers, I would lose my mind. So when he goes outside to play, he often wears mittens. Now, speaking of clothing and gear, this one might seem a little strange, but I want to talk about sweatpants, because if you have an autistic child, a lot of them have sensory issues. Clothing can be quite the daily battle. It has been for us. Different seasons requiring different attire can be a challenge. And so we found these sweatpants this year at Gap Kids, and I just wanted to share them. They're a little bit expensive. I got them on a Black Friday Christmas sale, but these joggers have been tremendous. I will link them down below, but they have zipper pockets. They have a drawstring for the waist. The tag is non-existent, and the one that was down in the leg was very easy to cut out and does not bother Ezra, because Ezra will not wear clothing that has a tag in it. They have like reinforced knees. They are very, very soft and just very durable. These have probably been worn 15 times, and you can see they still look brand new. Now there is a stain on the knee, but you know, that's gonna happen. Real life here. But we have them in gray and in black, navy blue. They have a bunch of colors. I'm just gonna link them down below in case you are searching for some decent looking joggers or sweatpants. We have loved these. All right, so let's move on to fine motor skills, or just things that are a little bit more stationary and quiet. In the winter, we love to do a lot of puzzles and a lot of board games. For Ezra in particular, I love the big floor puzzles that come with the really extra large pieces. Again, I'll put some B-roll in here. I don't have any specific ones to share with you, because honestly, I get a lot of mine secondhand at thrift stores or consignment sales, or you know, just hand-me-downs from other people. I feel like puzzles are one of those things that you really do not need to buy brand new. You can find pretty easily and very inexpensively. I even just recently found out that our library has like a puzzle trading system. You don't even have to check the puzzles out. They just have a shelf there where it's like take a puzzle, leave a puzzle, and we find a lot of puzzles there. So that's really fun, because once you do them a few times, they kind of get old, and it's nice to have something new rotating through. But the big floor puzzles have been really fun. Now, as far as board games, I always love sharing one, and this one is a silly one. I'm just gonna warn you now, it's a silly one. I hope it doesn't offend anybody. But Ezra loves this game, and I found it for him for Christmas. It is called Greedy Granny. And it is a granny who is sitting in a reclining chair, and she has dentures that she wears, and she props back and goes to sleep, and you take turns stealing snacks from her tray and try not to wake her up. And if she wakes up, she jolts awake and her teeth fly out and all the snacks fly everywhere. Ezra thinks it's hysterical. I have found that the sillier the game is, the more interested Ezra tends to be. And right now we are definitely in the realm of just these very easy taking turn back and forth kind of games. We have not graduated into like Candyland or anything like that yet. We're still working our way up there. So the kind of these easy preschool games where you're literally just taking turns and something will fly out or pop up. These are our bread and butter these days. Now, as far as coloring, I have shared on my channel multiple times that Ezra has fine motor weaknesses, and coloring has never been a favorite activity of his. It's actually something he's been very obstinate to most of the time. We have to do a lot of hand-over-hand, handwriting, coloring, things like that. Anytime I try to do it, he requires a lot of assistance from me. But I found a win at Aldi back in December. I put this in his stocking and it was fabulous. I don't know why I did not think of this before. These Imagine ink coloring sheets. These are the ones that come with one marker, and you don't have to worry about what color goes where. Really just your marker is revealing the colors that are already on the page. And so he can scribble, 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 and it will just reveal the colors. And so this was a breakthrough moment for him because he didn't feel like he was going to make a mistake. He didn't have to stay in the lines. Like, he didn't have to know what color went where. He could just take this marker, scribble it up, and reveal all of the colors. And so this was a game changer, and what finally gave him the confidence and the desire to want to color on a regular basis. And so very quickly, with just about within a week of doing this, he has then graduated up to the Color Wonder. If you're not familiar with these are fantastic if you want your little ones to be able to color with markers and not have to monitor them. Ezra does better with markers because, again, fine motor skills, you don't have to worry about the pressure of a marker, whereas with a crayon or a colored pencil, you have to worry or you're gonna break it. So markers are really the way that we have broken into coloring for him. And the Color Wonders in particular, I have a sheet here to show you. We love Bluey, by the way. Big Bluey household here. These markers will only color on the Color Wonder paper. They will not get on your hands. They will not get on the table. They only color on this paper. Now, unlike the other Imagine ink, the Color Wonders you can color any color you want. So I can say I want blue up here in the sky and it will reveal blue. And if I want to switch and I want to make it red, it will color whatever color I choose to put on there. So that has been really fun for Ezra because, again, he doesn't have to worry about the mess and he can just worry about coloring on the paper. I want to talk about subscription boxes. I know that a lot of homeschool channels here on YouTube talk a lot about subscription boxes. And usually I'm not a huge fan because they tend to be pretty pricey and they're typically pretty disposable. They're a one and done kind of thing, and I tend to not have the budget for things like that. But I will say Big Play in a Box reached out to me and asked if they could send Ezra and I a box to try out and talk about here on the channel. This company is different than the others, and that's why I wanted to feature them here on this video in particular, because this company is done by an occupational therapist. She has been practicing for 30 years. The boxes that she has created focus in on developmentally based learning. She has taken a lot of time and energy to think through fine motor skills, gross motor skills, sensory, including all of that, and even her wording on her website and what gets sent to you in the mail, it reflects all of that. And so I feel like this really sets this subscription box apart. We received our Pizza Fun box back at the end of the summer, early fall. And first of all, let me just say, it comes with a full-size book, a hardbound book of pizza with everything on it, which Ezra really enjoyed that story. And then it came with a Play-Doh pizza kit, which we still have all of those items in a little box, and we can get that out and create little pizzas with it over and over and over again. It came with a hat and an apron that Ezra could paint. We were even able to take the box that all of the items came in, and we're able to cut it out and turn it into a pizza oven. I love that there's not waste, that you're utilizing everything, and that you can play with it over and over again. I will link their website down below, but if you enter the code BIGPLAY20 at checkout, you will receive 20% off your entire order. Let's move on to sensory items. This first thing that I'm going to share with you guys, it is so neat. It is so fun. I will continue to buy these, I'm sure, for a very long time. And they are Glow Pals. My sister-in-law actually introduced me to these, so thank you, Laura. But they are these little lights that when they are in water, glow. So I'm gonna see if this will show up on camera. I just have a glass of water here, but when you drop them in water, they will turn on and glow. There, you can see. So you can see when they go into the water, they light up, and when you take them out, they turn off. And this is just so much sensory fun. I was a little bit skeptical of these. I wasn't sure that they felt a little bit pricey for just 4 little cubes, but oh my goodness, my little ones, Ezra in particular, has gotten so many hours of play out of these. We opened them up at the beginning of December, and they are still going here in the middle of January. I think the package says they'll last for 30 days, but ours have definitely gone above and beyond that. I don't know about you guys, but one of the things when Ezra is having a rough day or a rough moment or having a meltdown, there is something about just getting in a warm bath that can really help him to reset. And so these have been wonderful. Baths have always been my secret weapon in the winter when I have little ones who are just bored and need something to do. Throwing them in the bathtub with some new toys and some bubbles can help kill a half hour real easily. All right, so I put this one here under sensory because I wasn't really sure how else to categorize it, but I want to talk about food and picky eating. If you have an autistic child, you know that oftentimes there are sensory issues involved with foods and trying new foods. And I just wanted to mention these plates on here, just trying to be very practical and real about my everyday life with you guys. But these are Corelle divided plates. Honestly, these are 10 years old. We've had these forever. If you are not familiar with Corelle, the nice thing about them is that they are pretty indestructible. My kids have dropped these on the floor countless times, and they are very difficult to break, which is why we use Corelle in our kitchen on a daily basis. These divided plates, I have the small lunch set and the bigger dinner sets. Great, especially for Ezra, who doesn't like different items of food to touch on his plate. So this just is a time saver for me because I can give him different foods and they literally do not have to touch one another. I don't know if that will bless you, but these plates have been wonderful for our family, and all of my kids use them, honestly. All right, the last sensory item I want to share with you guys is definitely a little bit of a splurge. It's a little bit pricey. I'm just going to put that out there, but it was Ezra's big Christmas gift that he got this year, and it is a piano, a keyboard. They are available at Costco. I hope they still have them. This has been so fun for my music-loving man. The really fun thing is that the keys light up. It is a smaller keyboard, maybe 61 keys. It is small enough to fit in his bedroom. I can just put it right on top of his desk if I want to. And it also has a headphone jack, so I can use his toddler headphones that won't allow the volume to go too loud. Be sure you buy headphones that won't let them blast their volume in their ears. It's been wonderful. I cannot recommend it enough. If your child is interested in music or in playing on a keyboard, we have absolutely loved this mini keyboard from Costco. Let's move on and talk about Homeschool Resources. And if I'm honest, I could devote an entire video to this, just updating you guys about what curriculum has been working, what hasn't been working with Ezra this year. Maybe I'll do that, I don't know. Before I jump into the specific curriculum, I just want to share a little bit of encouragement, a couple lessons that I have learned this school year as I've been teaching and working with a child with special needs, trying to teach them how to read, how to do basic math. A couple lessons I have learned. First of all, repetition. Repetition, repetition, repetition. It has been key I feel like that's always a big deal with younger kids as they're learning these basic core skills in education. But for Ezra, it is even more so. The amount of repetition I do with him is double, if not triple or quadruple what I have done with my other kids. We'll just have to do the same lessons over and over and over again, and that's okay. So I want to put that out there to you, that if you are feeling discouraged because you're going back over the phonics sounds for the 15th time, that's how it works sometimes. Something else I have definitely learned this year is that hands-on manipulatives, play, anything that I can do to get him active and invested in what we're doing is helpful. Just that multi-sensory learning of visuals and audio and hands-on, making sure you're touching all of those different points really, really helps. Lastly, and this has been key for us, positive reinforcement, rewards, bribery, whatever you want to call it, they are a must in my everyday. I really, as I work with Ezra, will give him things that we're going to work on, but then I give him a reward at the end of it. So Ezra, on our visual schedule, if you can do X, Y, and Z, afterward, we're going to watch a show. Or if you can do this for this many minutes, afterward, we're going to go outside and play. Sometimes it's just as simple as a sticker. If we get through our All About Reading lesson, you get a sticker at the end, and that's enough for him to say, okay, I'm going to do it. So those are a few takeaways I've found this school year as I've been working with Ezra. Hope that that's an encouragement or a help to you. Now, I already mentioned All About Reading. Let's just jump right into it. I've done a couple videos this fall about the fact that we switched to All About Reading, and in particular, I want to say it has been wonderful because it does not require handwriting. Ezra doesn't have to write anything down. When we work on phonics, we are just working on reading skills. And built in within this curriculum is a lot of repetition. We go over flashcards over and over and over again. You do reading lists over and over. They also have that hands-on component where there are hands-on games or flip books or things like that. And as I mentioned before, the sticker chart. I mean, it's been great for us. He really is just so excited to get his little star sticker to put on here at the end of each lesson. If you have an autistic child or a special needs child that you are trying to learn how to read and you have not checked All About Reading, I would definitely tell you to just look at their website, see if it might be a good fit for you. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is math, and I don't just have one item I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about a couple different things in math that have been working really well. Now, this again was something else I had switched this year, and we had switched to kindergarten math with confidence. I've been a math UC junkie my entire homeschool journey, and so doing a different math program was very jolting for me. One of the things we love about it is that their worksheets are very simple. They're nice and colorful, not overly challenging, not a tremendous amount of handwriting that he has to do. It really just focuses in on that math skill. And it's just been, again, it's called Math with Confidence. And I would say this curriculum is so gentle and so kind and has really built confidence in him to enjoy math and love doing the pages every day. The biggest thing that we have enjoyed about this curriculum is, again, it has play-based suggestions for every single lesson. Something else we implement in math every day are dot to dots. It really helps to work on counting, on number recognition, on hand-eye coordination of going from one dot to the next. And again, there's that positive reinforcement, that reward at the end. Once you connect all the dots, you get to reveal this awesome picture, an elephant or some type of animal. And so it's definitely like a game for him. He connects all the dots and what am I gonna make? Now, let me just say, this is the Count to 30. We just started this book. We started with a Count to 10 book and then worked through a Count to 20, and now we're on to 30. So you just kind of meet them where they are and work their way up. When Ezra and I first started doing dot to dots, it was hand over hand all the time. And then we graduated to I go to one dot and then he goes to the next, and we would kind of take turns. And now he is able to do dot to dots all by himself. So just keep working along. There's little by little progress. The other thing we have added in with math, and I have Living Eve, her YouTube channel, to thank for this, and that is number blocks. If you've never heard of this YouTube channel or the manipulatives, You must look into it. These are Ezra's favorite toy, favorite show, favorite everything right now. We have the 1 to 10 set. It comes in a nice box, but that hit the dust long ago. And so just have it in one of these. But let me show you what these are. They are just Math Cube characters that are in a show. So here is 7. He's a rainbow. 8. Here is number 4. He can be a square or he can be tall. Here is number 2. So they are just literally math numbers, cubes that you can break apart and link together that on the TV show all have personalities. This set is not very expensive. I think it was less than $20. And honestly, it could be an entire math curriculum. It comes with all kinds of little cards and games that you can work through and that pair with YouTube videos that teach the concept, and then you can work it out and play. I will tell you, I have to give Number Blocks all the credit in teaching Ezra how to add. He has watched their videos and he can now add just about any number I throw at him. If I say, hey Ezra, what's 2 and 8? He'll say 2 and 8 is 10. Or if I say, Ezra, what's 3 and 4? 3 and 4 is 7. And sometimes he'll have to use the blocks to build it and talk through it, and other times he can just do it in his head. And so we absolutely love Number Blocks. I will be singing their praises for a long time to come, and I think we have a Number Blocks birthday party in our future. All right, so since we've already been talking about YouTube channels, let's just go ahead and talk about just some general resources that I have for you. These are a little bit more technology based. So Number Blocks, their YouTube channel has been wonderful. There is also an Alpha Blocks YouTube channel that is, I think, produced or linked to Number Blocks. We've only watched a couple episodes of that, but again, it's kind of the same idea where you have letter blocks that are combining to build words. Seems like a hit to me. Also, if you follow me on Instagram, I don't post on there a ton, but at Christmas time, I had linked to Miss Amy. This was such a blessing to our Advent season, to our Christmas. Ezra and Ava watched Miss Amy's Advent videos every single day in December. And if you've never heard of Miss Amy, I'll be sure to link her down below. But she is a Christian alternative to Miss Rachel, if you're familiar with that YouTube channel. Now, last but not least, I want to talk through a resource for you as parents of an autistic child, and that is Raising Autistic Disciples. They have a podcast. She has an Instagram. Lara is amazing. She has such wonderful content, so encouraging, so biblically based, just really helps to encourage parents who are walking the day in and day out of raising an autistic child, helping to keep our perspective on what is most important, and that is sharing the gospel with our child, sharing scripture with our child. And she gives such practical ideas and ways to do that. But she's also in the trenches with you, just walking those tough days out and sharing with you about those tough days. She herself has an autistic child, Graham. So if you haven't done so already, give her account a follow, listen to her podcast. I promise it will be a blessing to you. Okay guys, oh, I lost my tea, there it is. I don't know if you guys could hear in the last few minutes of the video, I've got a vacuum cleaner going outside my door and 2 different pianos are going. My daughter's practicing on our full piano and Ezra's in his room playing on his keyboard. I told you he plays on it all the time. So if you guys can hear that, that's just real life happening in our home. If you have any ideas or thoughts or suggestions about things you would like to see included in these videos, drop a comment down below. It is my goal and my intention to try to do these every couple of months. And I really do have a heart to only share things that we use as a family and that have actually been helpful to us and to Ezra. All right, guys, I hope you're having a fabulous week. See you later.